Sinachi, Abuebu Sinachi, Abuebu Sinachi, Hallelujah, Abuebu Sinachi, Abuebu Sinachi, Sinachi. Yeah, once again, shalom, brothers and sisters. I bring you greetings from Yahweh, our Most High, our Allah, and from His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. I want to do the continuation of the series that I started on Sabbath, on the Sabbath explained. Like I mentioned in part one of the video, which I've already done. Check it out on all my social media platform pages. Just search for my name, Michael Benedi, and you would see the other videos as well. Like I mentioned in part one, the Sabbath is for rest, for reflection, and for rejuvenation. These three reasons that Yahweh created the Sabbath for was for as a symbol of a relationship between Yahweh and his people. That was the symbolic reason. And all this was fulfilled in the person of Yahushua HaMashiach. So, Yahushua HaMashiach, when he was confronted about the Sabbath in Matthew chapter 12, he had to simplify it because the people had made a doctrine of it. Man has made a doctrine of it to the point that man could not even get the actual picture. They were using it as a judgmental to say this is an offender, this is not an offender, this is one that is right, this is one that is not right, and all that. So Yahushua HaMashiach explained it for man to understand the simplicity of the Sabbath. Yahushua was a man who complied with the Sabbath. His disciples also complied with the Sabbath because it is the Sabbath that is used as a mark. The Sabbath, the Torah, and Yahweh's name. These three things were things that were used as a mark to set apart Yahweh's people. So in Matthew chapter 12, when he was being confronted, if you read from verse 3, you will see where they spoke to him and they said, but he said unto them, that's Yahushua replying them now, he said unto them, have you not read what David did when he was hungry and they that were with him? Have ye how he entered into the house of Yahweh and did eat the shewbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. Verse 5. Or have you not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? Verse 6. But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. Verse 7. But if ye have known what this mean, he simplified it. If you have known what this mean, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. Ye would not have condemned the guiltless. You would not have used the Sabbath to condemn those that were not guilty. If you have known. So the Sabbath, Yahushua HaMashiach was trying to make them understand that this doctrine you have built around the Sabbath is actually for mercy. It is not to be done away with, but your appropriation, the way you handle how Sabbath was to be hallowed, it is not the original way in which it was created for. That's why I started by saying that you must understand the purpose of Sabbath. Sabbath was for rest, Sabbath was for reflection, Sabbath was for rejuvenation. These are the three reasons why the Sabbath was created. So when you come when they were in when there was an issue in which Sabbath was used to judge, Yahushua Hamashiach had to make them understand that you are forgetting the original purpose of Sabbath. You are not using it as a judgmental tool to say this one because they did not follow the doctrines and the laws you have built around the Sabbath, which was not in the original context of the Sabbath. You have not made them to be guilty when they actually are not guilty. So the Sabbath was for rest. So that's why he said, I am the master of the Sabbath. So I am in the right position, in the right place to explain how the Sabbath actually is. And he made it clear to them that Sabbath was for mercy. By this explanation, he did not do away with the Sabbath because Yahushua HaMashiach was a keeper of the Sabbath. His disciples were keepers of the Sabbath. The early apostles were keepers of the Sabbath. The Sabbath cannot be done away with because it was made in Eden. It was written on stones in Sinai. And it was honored in his son Yahushua HaMashiach, and was to be used to seal Yahweh's people. So man cannot do away with the Sabbath. It is important that we understand that. Yahweh speaking through prophet Isaiah in Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. I think we are going to read verses 13 and 14. But let me read from verse 13. I'm reading from your scriptures. If you do not turn back your foot from the Shabbat, from doing your pleasure on my Kodesh day, and shall call the Shabbat a delight, the Kodesh of Yahweh esteemed, and shall esteem it, not doing your own ways, not finding your own pleasure, not speaking your own words. Verse 14, then you shall delight yourself in Yahweh, and I shall cause you to ride on the heights of the earth, and feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it. Yahweh speaking through prophet Isaiah, reaffirming the Sabbath, that if you shall keep the Sabbath the way it is, he will set you on high, on the height of the earth. This was why the Hebrews, the Israelites, among other nations of the world, may read about how Yahweh make them to be a different people, how Yahweh was defending them. Yahweh created the Shabbat, gave them a name, and gave them the law to make them to be different and make them a showpiece to other nations of the world. That has not changed because Yahweh will never change. His Shabbat was important. That was why it was written on stones. No man can change what Yahweh has done. No man can alter it to a different day. No man is permitted to alter what Yahweh, the Most High, the Creator, has done. No man cannot do it. So when man begin to do the contrary, it is not the will of the Almighty.